never know when you're going to need a change of pace.
You know, February is coming up. I think you are going to find some time real soon.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we have a slide that we're going to throw up near the end.
But it was okay. 6:30.
So I'll cover it.
We had 2 signups, but I verified earlier, they do not want to speak.
Okay, so we're good?
We're
Great.
good.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. We're getting started a few minutes late, but doing really great considering all the weather. So let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a few guests today, but my understanding is that nobody wanted to speak. If you change your mind, just let us know right now. All right, seeing none, we can move on. I just wanted to take one moment to say thank you to all the staff, the operators, everybody at Metro for their incredible, dedicated work to keeping service going during the recent snow emergency and still ongoing, and the cold. It's really quite impressive. I know we've got some media coverage, and we had our own Bill Sprawl in an amazing video from the news documenting what was going on. So good job to everybody. I kept pinging Andy on various questions over the weekend, and he's like, we got it covered. We're doing it. So thank you from top to bottom, everybody here, and really all the other city and county services that continue to operate through all these challenges. Okay, we do have a slide on that later where staff is going to cover it, but I just wanted to say that right off the get-go. We're going to move around the agenda a little bit this morning. We are waiting for one more board member in order to vote on anything. Fortunately, we have some good things that don't require voting that we can go over. So stealing a little bit from Dan's infrastructure committee, we have some amazing communications around the infrastructure program. And we went over this in committee, watched it, discussed extensively, but we wanted to know a little bit more about how it was going to be deployed. So there's a video that goes over 5 of the infrastructure projects that really does, I think, an amazing job of giving you a sense of what the infrastructure program's been doing over the past several years. And then, I like data. I like the details. There's an absolutely astounding website that has been built. I don't even know if you call it a website. It's a resource. It's a tool. It has a slider that allows you to slide a map of the county and see all the projects, and then really dig down and see every project and what's going on. I just think it's the coolest thing. But we wanted to know more about how we were going to deploy this, how people were going to be able to receive it. And Brandy, do you think you could come up and tell us more about that?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Blake, for that intro to storytelling. We believe that we have a fantastic story to tell around the MTIF program and the impact that it's making throughout our county. And so we were asked to come back today to share a little bit more in detail of how we are going to get that word out, share those videos, really promote to the community the use of that story mapping on our website. And so when we thought about the goal, when this project was kind of conceived, it was around the fact that March 1st opens the application process for the 6th round of the MTIF funds. And we really wanted to not only spread awareness around that opening and call for projects, but also to spread awareness around the impact that the last 5 rounds have made in nearly every municipality in the county. And so we conceived of how do we bring it to life? How do we tell that story? And we wanted to add videos and photos and interactivity that will allow the community to see that impact in their own neighborhood. And so I'll start with just a little bit of a synopsis of the story mapping. So it will live on our website. And when you go to the MTIF page, for example, you'll be able to see a map of our region. And when you hover over a neighborhood, you can see either a before or after picture. There may be little videos of sound bites from a resident or a municipality member talking about the impact that was made on their streets or their sidewalks or a shelter or an infrastructure project and how it's really helping their neighborhood. And you'll see all those details that will live on that story mapping and much, much more. The other piece are the videos. And there is a master form video that we shared last week. It's about 5 minutes long, but it really is a deep dive and from many voices throughout the region of just how these projects have improved their communities. And we've also broken those down into smaller videos. They're about 1.5 minutes, give or take, and they are by community. And so we pulled out 5 projects that we thought really help us exemplify that story and that have been completed. And that brings that to life. And we heard some phenomenal feedback, some phenomenal testimonies and visuals from all types of people using our service in so many ways. And so those will be great stories that we are going to amplify. So how are we going to get it out there? The first approach is a community first distribution. So these videos will be on our website. They'll be on our social media. We will geo-target posts so we can use the zip codes of the communities where the neighborhoods have had the improvements, and we'll boost in those areas. So that anyone who's on Facebook and they live in those communities, it will make sure that it's into their feed and they can see, oh, there's an ad from Metro talking about my neighborhood. Let me watch that video and see what's happening. And it'll amplify what's going on their feed. We're also going to be sharing these videos in Facebook groups, on Nextdoor, and other community pages in those particular communities. We'll be sharing them with each of the cities and municipalities that have had the impact, and with the request that they will also share it on their network. So hopefully they're going to use those in their own community pages and newsletters and so forth to spread that information. We'll also be working with our elected officials and packaging it for them so they can talk about the impact these dollars are making in their neighborhood. As there were so many people who came together to pass Issue 7, we want to make sure that we're being transparent and really showing in a visual way how that 25% of those proceeds are being used right here in Hamilton County. And there's so much more on the community front, but I'll move into the business side of application. So we'll be working with our local chambers, asking them to share these videos and the story mapping on their platforms. There's a number of distributions they have with business partners and schools and community centers all throughout these areas that we're hoping they will speak from a perspective of what is the business impact of bringing these dollars, these construction dollars, into our community, and the matching that we're able to do on the local and federal levels as well. We have a 3 times a year, we produce a publication called Metro in Motion. It goes to our local elected officials and business leaders, state and federal. And these features will be included in there with QR codes. So up to a national level, these stakeholders will be able to see what we're doing right here in Cincinnati, how we're not just sitting back and waiting on funding to come in, but we're actively supporting and producing and working in our own community to build infrastructure. And so we're really happy to be able to tell those stories on a national level as well. And then, of course, there's working with our media partners. Part of this project gave us some really good B-roll that we'll be working with our media partners, and we'll be asking them to help us tell the story. There will, of course, be a news release that are going to come out in a couple of weeks now, announcing that March 1st is that opening for applications, and we will include a lot of this footage and really work to pitch and tell that story with the hopes that we'll get some snags that will help us further amplify on TV and print and radio and so forth. So that's just a high-level look at our approach to really getting this word wide and far and sharing the visual story of just how impactful MTIF has been in this community. We have a number of ways to measure impact. So, of course, we'll be looking at the views and the impressions and engagement on social and the clicks on our ads and our storylines and so forth. But also we'll be working with Howlett's team to see, did we get an increase in applications this year? And what is that response from the municipality? So there's so many ways that we'll be telling the story and continuing to watch and measure. And as more projects are completed, this is not a one-time done thing. We'll continue to build those stories and capture all the work that is happening in the MTIF program. And it's a special thanks to a few key members that made this possible. On the Speedy side, we worked very closely with Jason, and of course, they have an intern named Erlen, who really helped to build the visual mapping on the website. And on my team, Brad Mason was very instrumental in organizing the videos and the testimonials and working together to bring all of this together. Thank you. Any questions?
Hi, Brady. Thank you so much. I was just blown away when we saw this last week, and then I've had some time to explore the story map on my own, and it is just a remarkable communication tool and storytelling tool. And I know that it's so important these days for a lot of reasons to get that message out and just to tell the story. And I'm just so impressed with what you all created, so much so that I shared it with my colleagues to see if we could do something similar in my organization to communicate the impact of what we do at my work around affordable housing. It's something very, another important community project. But what you've done is create just a great example of, of how to tell a story well. So thank you, and I know we're going to connect with Jason and Khaled, and hopefully someone from you or your team can be involved in that conversation as well. So thanks for all your hard work on this, to everyone.
Thank you. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you much.
Thank you so much. And Khaled, Jason, maybe you guys could tell us a little bit more about what went into this project. Khaled, if you could introduce it. And then Jason, at the board's discretion or board chair's discretion, I would like to watch the video one more time. And hopefully we can stream that so that anybody who wasn't able to make it here due to the weather or whatever will be able to see that video. And then a couple minutes also just to overview the story mapping.
Yeah, I'll let Jason talk about the details because he was working on it with the intern more than I did. I was just giving orders, which is the easy part. No. But, for the first 4 years, by the guidelines, MTIF guidelines, we have to provide you with an annual report every year. So for the first 4 years, we did the standard, report, annual report, summarizing the activities of that previous year, the projects that were won, and where we are to date, and so on. And that was kind of like fine. It provided the needed information. But moving forward, we thought that's getting a little bit boring, just doing, what we've been doing for, so many years. And we want to take a different angle at it, make it more exciting, more interesting to use. At the same time, to use it as a tool for the public to use and see the benefit of this great program. And that's when Jason stepped in with the intern, and they really made it happen. As you heard from Brandy, there was some input also from other departments, including communications and other areas. And I know how much you all love it, and especially Sarah. And it turned out to be just an exceptional thing. We're very proud of that. And so this is our annual report for this year and moving forward, hopefully, and it's going to be updated. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jason.
Yeah, good morning and thank you. I think what we realized through the first 2 or 3 years of MTIF is that there was a lot of work being done, and we've seen it because we facilitate the program. A lot of that is community outreach, design, concept design. But what we've started seeing in years 4 and 5 is a lot of completion. And we really wanted to be able to circle back to the projects that have been awarded and highlight the benefits they're bringing to the county and throughout the county. So along with the intern and our communications department, we looked at the time 107 different projects and read through all the summaries and all the applications, really to try to find projects that had been completed that would help really tell the story of MTIF, the different types of impacts that they make, whether it's a connectivity project in a sidewalk or intersection improvements or accessibility, access to transit they didn't have before, roadway infrastructure. There was really a lot of effort put into just identifying projects that really spoke to the MTIF. And we had started hearing a lot of, whether it be from our board or internal at Metro or stakeholders out in the communities, they wanted to know what was happening. So we put some emphasis on make sure that there were signs in place that were consistent with our new branding. And then this is just a follow-up to really letting the county and the voters know that the tax dollars that they voted for to support MTIF, the work that's being accomplished. And I just thank everybody for the support, especially our communications team. You see how wonderful Brandy is and how fantastic their plan is to get this stuff out there. I'm just really happy to be a part of it and to kind of help tell the story of MTIF. The video, Blake, did you want to see that? If you could.
In 2020, when voters in Hamilton County passed Issue 7, they trusted Metro to deliver. In 2020, when voters in Hamilton County passed Issue 7, they trusted Metro to deliver service enhancements and improve regional infrastructure. In response, we created the Metro Transit Infrastructure Fund, MTIF for short. 4 years into the program, we're proud to show you our progress.
To date, we have awarded $349 million to projects across Hamilton County. That's a total of 131 different projects across 35 different jurisdictions. And these are all projects that we are extremely proud of because it's really helping everybody, regardless of their mode of transportation.
It's been great for our citizens to have these improvements.
We're talking about trails, we're talking about bump outs that shorten crosswalks, we're talking about helping us to pave our street and fix the potholes, all of those things.
Roads, sidewalks, safety, accessibility, all within reach of Metro routes.
Especially with a busy street, the sidewalks definitely do make me feel safer coming to work.
The MTIF program itself is a fantastic opportunity for communities to get funding. Small communities, counties do not have the ability to get a lot of federal funding for roadway type projects. I praise the voters of Hamilton County for voting this in. This is one of the best things they've ever done.
Here are 5 projects we believe show the impact of the MTIF program, bringing safer streets, walkable neighborhoods, and better access to transit, business, and everyday life. In Norwood, about $2.3 million went into making Montgomery roads safer and more walkable. This isn't just pavement, it's people's daily paths to work, school, and transit.
Building this kind of infrastructure brings businesses in, it lets people know that your community has vitality, that it has plans, and that it has a future.
Woodlawn's project along Springfield Pike and Grinninger Way cost about $1.2 million. We added and replaced sidewalks, upgraded signals, improved bus shelters and paths. These routes serve people who live and work in Woodlawn. This ties transit to commerce and access to essential services.
That project gave us the ability to improve our walkability here in the village of Woodlawn for our residents and for those that are riding the Metro bus here into the village of Woodlawn.
I think it's exciting to invest in an infrastructure that allows accessibility and that really puts people first.
In Sharonville, we built a new shared use path along the US 42 corridor to enhance connectivity, support multimodal transportation, and provide direct access to existing bus stops. This strategic project not only links downtown Sharonville to its northern section, but it also includes a new dedicated pathway into Sharon Woods.
We removed an old parking lot and built a trail that now goes all the way into the Sharon Woods Visitor Center.
The path looks great, it's highly used, and it's a huge safety improvement to that corridor.
MTIF money was used to help extend the Wasson Way Trail. A dedicated signal was installed to help cyclists and pedestrians across Montgomery Road.
One of the things I think was really awesome about this project is that the city, when they installed the signal, they put signal timing on it that is immediate. So when a trail user approaches that intersection, you press that button, the signal turns. And that sends a message that trail users are a priority and makes the trail user experience more convenient and enjoyable.
The improvements along Joseph Road are making a huge impact. Students walking to Coleraine High School along Joseph Road now have a new sidewalk with signalized crosswalks to ensure a safer trip to school.
We were not financially invested in this project. We were emotionally connected to it from a safety standpoint for our students, and we appreciate that the resources were allocated to a project like this in our district, and we know there are other places in our district that will benefit from future projects.
And one of the most transformative projects is now underway, the Western Hills Viaduct Replacement. Originally built in the 1930s, this vital bridge carries thousands of vehicles and several metro routes every day. With $205 million from the Metro Transit Infrastructure Fund, the city of Cincinnati and Hamilton County have begun working together to replace it, ensuring reliable transit connections for decades to come. These are just a few of the many projects made possible by MTIF. Because transit infrastructure isn't just about buses, it's about people, safety, access, and opportunity.
We are grateful for the trust that voters have placed in the Metro Transit Infrastructure Fund and in us. We are proud to play a role in creating opportunity and growth in our region. We look forward to building on this success by listening, partnering, and delivering improvements that really make a difference in the lives of the people that we serve.
Love it. I could watch that many more times. But Dan, did you want to actually do the whole infrastructure committee right now and maybe talk about the story mapping? I just realized as I was looking at the agenda that this was much of the infrastructure committee that I stole from you from your report, and I'm sitting over here feeling very guilty for doing that out of order.
Blake, you have covered exactly what I wanted to say. So in the interest of time for the board, really this is great to bring it forward. So thank you for bringing it forward through the committee. Last time around, we decided to do this again before the whole board. And really, thanks obviously again to Jason, Haled, and Brandy, the marketing of it and the pushing out of the messaging. That's a lot of what we wanted to cover today. So thanks for doing that, and we appreciate all your work. This is a masterpiece, and the more we can push it out to our communities and that people can use it, right, in their own elected officials, for example, like you said, would love to talk about these projects, but sometimes don't know how. So the messaging that you provided for them is going to be very helpful, and all the people can see visually how issue $7 have really had an effect on their own communities. So thank you all for doing it, and that's really all I wanted to cover, and you covered it pretty well before that. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Dan. Just to indulge me, Jason, could you show the website story mapping, maybe do the slider and just show one project real quick, and then as Dan said, in the interest of time, we can move forward with other items. Yep.
So as was described previously, this will be embedded on our website. You'll be able to bring it up. It'll be a resource as well as just an ongoing library of projects. As you scroll through, we kind of cover the what is MTIF with just some guidance and a little description about what projects are eligible. This is a map of our service area. The blue blob is within 3/4 of a mile of a fixed route. As you swipe from left to right, it's a nice little interactive way to show the lane miles and the intersections that have been improved throughout Hamilton County. And the hope is that over the next 20 years that this little blue blob will be riddled with red lines and black dots. As you continue down, part of Metro Transit Infrastructure Funds is awarding to jurisdictions, and we kind of wanted to highlight where those jurisdictions are located. As you kind of scroll through the tiles, it jumps around on the map. You can select the jurisdiction, and it'll give you a little summary. We tried to put things in there that might be unique about the jurisdiction or interesting, then highlight some of the Metro service that's provided within those areas. And then continuing down through the map tour, we put in some of the B-roll footage that Brandy spoke about, some of the small project highlights in between the map tours, and then you go to a round by round. And this really is the annual report piece that Holly had mentioned, where we highlight each project in every round, and we break it down. We provide the details of the project. We show the project limits and where within the jurisdiction they're located. We try to include some photos. We share the amount of funding that was in place. And we also realized it was a real opportunity to share some of the work that's being accomplished. It's one thing to see the before and after, but seeing the work is really impressive. Oh, my apologies.
This is amazing. Thank you so much. I really encourage everybody here, everybody who's listening or viewing online to get in there and look at all the projects, dig down deep. And Khaled, I do want to say that none of this is boring. I'm going to counter your comments. But what I think was going on is that it was just so much that it required a lot of work to read a long report. So what you guys have done is transformed that into something that's very engaging and fun to see. So again, I think Dan said a masterwork. I really think it is, like that language. And I just can't imagine what it's going to look like. Well, I can, and I'm excited what I imagine in 20 years this is going to look like. So good work. Thank you so much.
Jason, kudos to you and your team. When we saw this last week, yes, we were all in awe of what you all have been able to put together and highlight. I think I had a question last week, and I just wanted to make sure I offered it as well here. But the amount of local dollars that has gone to our small, minority, disadvantaged businesses, but even more than that, just local businesses that have been able to kind of pull themselves up and really be part of the regional progress and forward movement. Will that be able to live here as well and tell those stories?
I certainly think that we've had discussions previously internal with leadership about how we might be able to highlight some of the indirect impact that Metro MTIF funds are making with some of those local contractors especially. And with me going from being under MTIF, under procurement, we kind of have that max spend. I think there's an opportunity to kind of reach out and work with some folks, especially when it comes to maybe vendor and contractor identification and maybe getting them to share with us, the amount of money that's being spent. It's very introductory at this time of like, what are our opportunities? But I do think that there might be some chances that we can capture some of that in the future.
Thank you so much. I think we'll jump on over to all the items we can vote on now. Great to have a full quorum here at the board. So again, thank you, Jason, Khaled, Brandy, and everybody who worked on it. Okay, so first thing is approval of the board minutes.
So moved.
Moved and seconded before I even noticed. Amazing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say left. Any abstentions? All right, the minutes are approved. That moves us right into the Finance Committee.
Thank you so much. Finance Committee met last week. We had a great discussion. It was exciting to see what we've been able to accomplish for 2025. And a lot of you will remember that when we started with the sales tax, our anticipation was really, really high, but those dollars are really low and weren't quite what we were expecting month after month. And so it is exciting to see that story change. When we look at our sales tax, we came up $170,000. That was upside or as an increase to our anticipated amount. Our revenues as well were up, and so we are appreciative of that. When we look at that budget that finished on 2025, I think thanks to Tim and Mr. Walker and Kevin and his team for having such a narrow variance, that just speaks to the skills and financial capabilities of that team. And so we are really, really proud of that work. But I will end there, and I won't steal Tim's thunder. I'm going to turn it over, and he's going to give us our financial results.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Clark. Appreciate those kind words. But also, let's keep in mind these results are the proud output of the entire Metro organization. So everyone here has a role, and everyone within the Metro team has a role in this. We look first at the month here, and we'll go through this kind of quickly since we had a robust discussion last week. Total revenue came in for the month about $17.8 million, which was $911,000 favorable or greater than the budget we had expected for the month. That favorability was largely driven by sales tax and also some positive CPS revenue. When you look at the expenses for the month, they came in at $15 million, which were unfavorable or meant we spent a little bit more than we expected by about $870,000. And that unfavorable variance was largely with the overtime we've been experiencing with inside our wages and benefits line, along with some parts and supplies, which we've got a plan to keep that spending in line and have some price certainty on that. So all in all, when you look at the unfavorability of 869 versus the favorability of 911 on the revenue, that means we were positive to the budget by about $42,000 for the month. And when you look at the bottom line, which is our operating capital contribution or surplus, whatever term you want to use, came in at about $2.8 million. Great all around for us for the month. Ridership was slightly unfavorable to budget, but greater than last year. Now let's go to the next page. As we all know, this is my favorite page, but let's focus on the right side if we can. Looking at our total revenue for the year, we came in at $173.6 million in total revenue, which was favorable to budget by $689,000. So some great news there. There are some pluses and minuses in there, as we've talked about throughout the year. The pluses were the sales tax for the year came in positive to our budget. The negative was our fare revenue, which we've identified before. We didn't have the budget included certain service improvements and ads that we didn't input this year, which was expected once we started the year. But we managed through that, and we came out positive on the revenue line. But also on the revenue, if you look at last year, we were at $161.5 million for revenue. So our revenue grew at about 7.5% for the year. A nice growth for us. Always keeping an eye on our sales tax, as Ms. Clark had mentioned, because that's about 70% of our revenue for the organization. Turning down to the expenses came in unfavorable, or we spent a little bit more than we had expected. They came in at $167.1 million. That was unfavorable by $640,000. But when you do the math, the unfavorability on the expenses were less than the favorability on the revenue. So all in all, we came in at a $49,000 surplus to our budget for the year, and our operating capital contribution came in at $6.48 million. Once again, thank you to everyone here at Metro. Tremendous effort all around to be so crisp and close to our budget. As I mentioned, we had some ups and downs through the year, but we end this year at a slight favorability to the budget, and that's something that we always strive to do. In the interest of time today, that's going to be my report. Any questions from anyone here around the table? Yes, Mr. Simpson.
I did run a trucking company, so fuel and lubricants, I pay attention to that. Do we team with anybody else like Northern Kentucky Transit or Dayton or Columbus as far as purchasing fuel and lubricants?
No, we don't, but actually we had a discussion last week on our procurement for the fuel for this year. We do our own individual fuel procurement. We look at our volume and feel it's substantial enough, and it's a little challenging to work with a consortium of agencies here, but not stealing the headline from the procurement matrix. But we did have our procurement for this year, for 2026, our diesel fuel is going to be 3 cents below the spot price each day when we have it delivered. So we're comfortable with that, along with our hedging, which the board will get an update in next month on our hedging policy. But we feel comfortable with our procurement process. Mr. Rowe led it late in the year, and that's kind of how we go through our fuel procurement for the year. And actually, the procurement estimate is less than it was last year, based on that. But we're really pleased with the 3 pennies below the spot price. Thank you. Any other questions?
Quick question. So we know that we don't quite have the last couple months of the year for sales tax. So how do we close out the year and get final numbers? Do we have to wait a couple months before it really is done?
Yes, sir. We have to wait a couple months. And so the final results will be in what we call our period 13. So it'll be in our annual ACFR statements. So in, call it 4 or 5 months, the board will receive our audited financials from Crow, and it will include the final output of everything that we have, the main piece being the sales tax revenue.
Okay, great. So we have a great picture of last year right here.
Correct.
But we got to wait a few more months before it's done.
Just a couple, and we've seen some nice trends, so we're very hopeful, and of course our planning for next year, we had a slight increase as well, but it will all be flushed out through our annual audit process.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Etheridge. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Clark.
You're welcome, but you're coming back. As we look at one of our action items, the approval of a purchase threshold increase, just to kind of frame that up, what this would do would increase our $100,000 threshold to $250,000, and that makes this in alignment with the current state and federal policies. And I do believe that this is still great in terms of protecting transparency and oversight for us. When we look at what the board would look at, the board would still look at about almost 75.5% of those third-party spending requests, and 99.2% of purchase orders are already below $100,000. So I am moving for an approval of this. If anyone has any questions, Tim can answer those.
Second.
All right, second. It's been seconded, and all those in favor, voice vote, right? Of aye?
And then I do the roll call.
Roll call.
Oh, okay, roll call, please. Okay.
Any questions?
Nope, there's no questions.
Mr. Bryce? Yes. Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Driehaus?
Yes.
Mr. Etheridge?
Yes.
Mr. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Sheets? Yes. And Mr. Smith?
Yes.
All right. With no abstentions and all voices included, we've got that approval. Second, we've got approval of our 2026 SORTA meeting schedule. Everyone should have received this. We did talk about this last week, and as far as I know, there weren't any concerns or questions about this. All right, I'll move a motion that we approve the schedule of meetings for 2026. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Bryce? Yes. Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Driehaus?
Yes.
Mr. Etheridge?
Yes.
Mr. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Sheets? Yes. And Ms.
All right, with that, those are also approved, and finances is at its end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's roll right on into planning and ops. Pete.
Yeah, we had a robust planning and ops meeting. Covered a lot. I would call out a couple of things. One is the really good work done on the short range plan by the team to have managed that in-house is really impressive. I encourage everyone to spend some time with that document. We got a great overview, but really spend some time with it. I think that will be really important. Really great progress on Metro Rapid, including selection and alignment moving forward on a couple of key stations. And so excited about that. Really good deep dive on service quality metrics and a teaser, if you will, on a ridership deep dive that we'll be having next month. So stay tuned for that and come back for that really important conversation about ridership. In terms of procurements, we had a number of good ones. Noting, by the way, with what we just did, all of the procurements we saw in planning and ops were ones that still would have come before us under this new threshold. But the first of sort of our bus brake kits that we expect to see more of these sort of packages coming before us. We bought a lot of fuel, and then we embraced our CPD detail as well and moved that forward. So if there are no questions, I would move approval of the procurement consent agenda covering all of the procurement items, but happy to pull something off if others want to discuss them.
I just had a quick question. When it comes to just the police and safety improvements, what type of ROI are we looking at when we're, I mean, is it rider satisfaction or operator retention, confidence? What are we looking at to kind of help gauge what that ROI would be for us?
Yeah, it's all of the above, right? Our relationship with the Cincinnati Police Department is absolutely critical. A system our size, we have to make the decision of whether we are going to create our own police force, if we're going to partner with CPD. We've partnered with CPD over the last 50 years to provide safety and security support for our team. So it's exactly that, right? It helps our customers in certain situations, helps our operators if they're dealing with a difficult customer, there needs to be police intervention, and they're essentially a front line to us. If our operator calls dispatch and dispatch calls CPD, they know exactly what to do and how to interface with the Metro system. So they help us in a number of ways in 24-hour situations in every corner of our service area. So super important. And you'll see here the procurement with roll call is the third-party agency that CPD uses to schedule their service. So we have to go through roll call in order to get to our CPD detail. Great question.
Thank you.
We also have the CMAR procurement, or it's like an initial part of the CMAR engagement.
Yeah, thanks. I totally
here.
skipped over that one.
You
No,
wanna-
no, go for it.
Oh, I just wanted to note that it's kind of new for us as an approach. The team has been working hard on making that happen, and it is a huge step as we move forward in BRT. Encourage you to engage with the monthly BRT presentations that we're getting as a board to see how that develops over time. Yep.
The only I know we've got a motion on the floor. I'll follow my Robert's Rules of Order. I have one other comment, but I've moved approval of the consent agenda. Yeah, I do my best. Chelsea seconded. We can do a roll call.
Mr. Bryce? Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Driehaus?
Yes.
Mr. Etheridge?
Yes.
Mr. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Sheets? And Mr. Smith?
Thank you. The only other thing I was going to note is I know we thanked our operators. I also want to thank the 3CC ambassadors who are working so hard downtown. And I know I've talked to some of us on the board who are regular bus riders. When that snowplow comes and pushes all the snow in front of the sidewalk curb cut, if you're have any mobility challenges, it becomes very hard to move around. And I saw a bunch of ambassadors out shoveling curb cuts this morning around downtown. So thanks to them, they do really hard, good work and also keep places like Government Square functioning. So just want to make sure we acknowledge them too.
Thank you very much. We, on our agenda, had infrastructure, but I think we covered that before. So acknowledging that one more time. And then, there's governance committee.
I'll take this one.
You, Dan.
Okay, your governance committee met prior to this meeting. Our nominating committee consists of myself, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Metz, Ms. Sheets, Mr. Smith, and we had a great discussion about our leadership and wanted to have some continuity year over year. And I'm going to put forth a nomination on behalf of the nominating committee to reelect as chair Blake Etheridge, vice chair Sarah Sheets, and as secretary treasurer Andy Aiello. So that's what we are putting forth as a nominating committee. Do I need a second? Tony seconds. Sorry, Chelsea. Now, I think, Blake, you asked for other nominations at this point, the chair.
Are there any other nominations? Thank you, Dan. Hearing none, do we go to a roll call? Please, Natalie.
Mr. Bryce? Yes. Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Driehaus?
Yes.
Mr. Etheridge?
Yes.
Mr. Metz?
Yes.
Ms. Sheets? And Mr. Smith?
Congratulations. I wasn't sure in the Roberts Rule of Order when to say this, so I'm going to say it now. I probably should have said it before, but we have really had a dynamic year. It's been a great year with really the leadership, employed leadership at Metro, as well as the board, and really thanks to Mr. Etheridge and Ms. Sheets for leading us through. Some highlights include, which are obvious to all of us that have been paying attention to the meetings, but we are continuing to implement much of Reinventing Metro. The strategic planning process is underway, and it was a great process that was started. Our CEO search, not only our search, but election of our employment of our new CEO, that was a great process. BRT, Government Square, and just recently, as we saw yesterday, the important work of the warming buses for our most vulnerable residents. So I really want to congratulate Blake and Sarah for your reelection, and thank you for all the work you do on behalf of Metro.
Thank you very much. It's my distinct pleasure to serve the community in this way and to be able to work with all of you here and everybody in our organization and all the other people throughout Hamilton County and beyond that support the amazing work that SORTA Metro does. So thank you so much. Sarah? Okay. All right. Well, let's keep forward with the work. And thank you very much for leading that committee, Dan, and making sure that got done. All right. So, Andy, progress and priorities.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I want to I'll be the third person, I think, today to talk a little bit about what's happened in the last few days here with the weather. There's a slide that Natalie's pulling up that kind of shows some of the work that our team has done over the last 72 hours. I just want to mention that when we have weather like this, we take this very seriously. It is serious on both sides of the coin. We ask our employees to do a lot. We ask our employees to come to work if they can do so safely. Not everyone can, and so not everyone does. But for those that are capable and able, they do. They show up. And they show up because we have very important work to do every single day. We can't take a day off in this business. Some of the comments you can see here on social media, and you may have seen the report on Channel 9 with our COO, Mr. Sprawl, talking about how we move people who get to life-sustaining jobs. Hospitals, dialysis clinics, nursing homes, people that need to show up to take care of the people that we care for and love, often rely upon public transportation, and we can't not operate for 2 or 3 days, and those folks get to work. So again, it's not perfect when we do it because of all the challenges that I mentioned before, and we never ask anybody to do anything that is unsafe, just to do what they can do safely, and we get a city that continues to move forward. So there are folks that got up at 2 a.m. to make sure that they could get here to work, to drive the bus, or to maintain the bus, or to dispatch the bus, or to help be a clerk in our operations facility. So thanks to all of you at Metro and the employees that do that and continue to do it, and we really, really appreciate it. You do see a picture there too. We provide other services when it gets very, very cold to make sure that our most vulnerable stay warm, and we have some warming bus support that we provide the city manager's office and other partners in the community. So just a heartfelt thank you, and also thanks to our customers who do rely upon us to be patient during this time of year, because like we said before, it's not perfect. So just wanted to mention that before I jumped into my report. So thank you again. In terms of progress and priorities, we like to kind of check in on things that are happening. The strategic plan was mentioned. I want to thank Blake and Sarah and John and Khaled. We've been working together to update that strategic plan. You all have been engaged in that process. We went through that existing conditions analysis, the SWOT analysis. We've updated our mission, vision, values, and we have prioritized what our strategic priorities should be. So you will see a draft for that plan here in February. We're really excited about where it's going, and it's been developed with a ton of input from you all and from our senior leadership team, and also taking the feedback that we've received from our customers over the last 12 months as well. Federal funding, we had some big news that came out in the last week that the House and Senate Joint Appropriations Committee is starting to put together what looks to be like the funding levels for federal fiscal 26. Those look to be very consistent with what we've seen over the last few years, which when we're talking about federal issues, you have to wait and see, right? Because you never know if there is a change in direction. And right now we're looking like things are in very good shape, which means consistency in our base funding from the federal government. This is the last year, as I mentioned before, of the 5-year transportation bill. So fiscal 27 will either be part of a continuing resolution of this bill, or it will be a whole new transportation bill in general. So we'll keep close eyes on federal funding here in the next 12 months. Mentioned the Adopt a Stop. You've seen this maybe on our social media. Really happy to partner with Keep Cincinnati Beautiful. If you remember when we were going through those existing conditions analysis, one of the things that our customers said we could do a better job at is the condition of the stop that they use to board the bus every day. So this is just one of the many things that's happening in that area. Something that you don't see behind the scenes, but I think is a symbol of how our safety and security function works within Metro. In 2022, starting in 2022, the buses that we received from the manufacturer had these 3 eye-level stoplights in the back of the bus. If you can imagine the back of the bus, it's like a big wall, right? And we have brake lights on the side, and we have some on the top. In 2022, manufacturers started to install 3 lights right at eye level on the rear of the bus. We've noticed after 3 years of operation that those vehicles have a significantly less likelihood of being rear-ended than the rest of our fleet. So at $200 a piece, we're retrofitting 190 buses to include these eye-level stoplights, rear brake lights on these buses. Most of the accidents that occur, the rear-end accidents, are not our fault, right? But what they do is they prevent an accident from happening, which is a good thing from a safety perspective. It also means that we're not inconveniencing our passengers by stopping and having to deal with a fender bender out on the road. So just kudos to Bill Sproul and Mike Weil and Mike Parsons and everybody on the safety security team here at Metro for using data to drive safety. Going back 2 years, you may recall when this board passed the Red Bike approval to support Red Bike. One of the things that they asked for was integration of the apps. We've been working long and hard, and Nick Keeling from our planning department has been working with Doug at Red Bike, and in the spring you're going to see a launch of real multimodal trip planning. So you can plan your trip in the transit app, and it will show you the bike segment and the transit segment. More to come on that, but just to check in on something that you all approved in the past. That sums up my report. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I do believe that Brandy is going to close us out with a conclusion of the year 2025. I want to echo what Mr. Driehaus said. It's been a great year at Metro. The leadership of this board has been incredible. Your professionalism, your strategic look at how we serve the community has been incredible. So thank you for everything that you do as board members. And I think our riders thank you very much as well.
Thank you so much.
Next, you'll see a awesome video that wraps up 2025, and a special shout out to our digital media specialist, Bree Ray, who's here. They worked to edit and produce and create this, and all year long capturing footage that can help tell the impact of the work that our workforce do in serving our community. So hope you enjoy.
In 2025, Metro deepened its commitment to the community we serve. Transportation is what we do, but people remain at the heart of everything we do. Every route we enhance, every innovation we introduce, and every partnership we build is designed to make life in our region better. 2025 marked a meaningful moment of transition and continuity. We celebrated the retirement of Daryl Haley, whose leadership helped shape a new era for Metro. With Daryl's retirement, we proudly welcomed Andy Aiello as Metro's new Chief Executive Officer and General Manager. Andy continues to lead Metro forward, building on a powerful legacy. ridership continued to climb across Metro services, a powerful reflection of the trust our community places in us. Investments like the introduction of Route 8 delivered better service, greater frequency, and more reliable connections where riders need them most. But ridership growth is about more than routes. It is about building a complete rider experience where every part of the system works together seamlessly. We introduced Tap and Save, simplifying how people pay and ensuring riders never pay more than they should. The Rider Rewards program was created to say thank you to our most loyal riders. We also enhanced features within the Transit app, including route alerts and real-time service notifications that help riders stay informed on the go. New onboard signs rolled out across the system, delivering clearer wayfinding and real-time service information. These improvements are changing how our community experiences transit every day. Metro Now continued to redefine how we think about mobility in Hamilton County. This year, Metro Now grew in communities like Forest Park, Pleasant Run, Montgomery, and Blue Ash. Each month, ridership continues to grow. For many riders, Metro Now is more than a ride. It is a lifeline to groceries, doctors, jobs, and opportunity. Our access service remains a critical part of Metro's mission to serve every member of the community. Metro partnered with Tank and BCRTA to launch Easy Connect, a first-of-its-kind regional paratransit pilot that breaks down borders between transit systems and creates seamless, one-seat rides for ADA-certified riders. Metro took a transformational step forward with the introduction of Metro Rapid, setting the stage for the future of transit in our region. Throughout the year, Metro engaged communities across the region, hosting public meetings, attending neighborhood events, and talking directly with residents, business owners, students, and riders about what they need most from transit. Their feedback shaped how Metro Rapid will serve neighborhoods for generations to come. Investment in the future also continued through the Metro Transit Infrastructure Fund, also known as MTIF. Through MTIF grants, Metro partnered with cities, townships, and community leaders to fund local projects that improve streets, bus stops, sidewalks, and neighborhoods. Since its launch in 2021, the MTIF program has awarded more than $349 million to support 131 projects across Hamilton County. Metro's commitment extends far beyond the bus. We strengthened key partnerships with Cincinnati Public Schools and area universities. By working side by side with educators, we are ensuring that every student has a reliable way to learn, grow, and succeed. Our engagement team met people in neighborhoods, at events, and in classrooms, building relationships and listening to what the community needs most. At the heart of Metro is our people. This year, we proudly honored our team through the Golden Bus Awards, the Safety Banquet, and countless moments of recognition that celebrate excellence across our organization. These celebrations are more than events. They are a reminder that the strength of Metro lives in the dedication, professionalism, and heart of our people. Our great values guide everything we do, from how we serve riders to how we support each other. 2025 was about continuing momentum, about strengthening connections, about innovation, and about delivering on our promise to the community. As we look ahead, our mission remains the same: to connect people to opportunity, to move Hamilton County forward, and to do it together. Metro, your way to go.
don't think I could sum anything up any better than that. So let's just leave on that note, unless there's any new business.
Unfortunately.
Oh, okay, Casey, please.
First of all, again, another good video, and also want to thank Blake and Sarah and Andy and everyone for great leadership. Had a meeting with Cincinnati Public Schools, and we talked about the safe lots, and they were saying that Metro is going to provide transportation for the safe lots. I don't know if that has.
I don't have any specific details about what those transportation needs are. I'm familiar with the safe lots, and I can work with their administration to see specifically what those transportation needs are and what role we may play. We have a great relationship with Cincinnati Public Schools and their administration, so if there's a specific need, we'll talk to them to
I know they said
identify
it's supposed to start in April, so just put
We
it
got
out
some
there.
time. Thank you.
The other thing is, want to really applaud our drivers with all the challenges that they face, and then especially over the last couple of days with all the snow that we've had. But it was shown on the news, I guess this goes out to Brandy, where a car was sliding and slid right in front of a bus. Then the bus hit it. Was there, I mean, I'm sure with no, was it, I don't know, with injuries or anything like that?
Bill can respond to that one.
Okay.
Yeah, there were actually two that showed up, and in both of those cases, the car in one ran the red light, and the other one it pulled out in front of the bus. In both of those cases, there were no injuries and minor damage. Yeah,
that's it for me.
Thank you so much, and thanks for staying on top of that important issue with Cincinnati Public Schools. All right, any other new business? Thank you. Have a great day.